Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome and greetings to everybody on this Shivaratrih day. Shivaratrih, the night of Lord Shiva, when it is traditional to worship Lord Shiva, meditate upon Lord Shiva, in fact, realize Lord Shiva as our own self. As the Mandukya Upanishad says, Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Savijñāya. Sa Atma, the very self, is described as Prapanchopashamam, which transcends all the prapancha, all the duality. Shantam, of nature of absolute peace and tranquility. Shivam, auspiciousness, Ananda. Advaitam, non-dual, infinite. That is the ultimate and essential nature of Lord Shiva. And Shivaratrih is ideally meant for meditating, contemplating upon Lord Shiva. Sa kasya stotavyah katividaganah kasya vishayah. In a famous hymn called the Mahimna Stotra, the poet asks, Sakasya Stotavyah, who can praise Lord Shiva? Kativida, how many are glories? Or Kasya Vishaya. So Lord Shiva cannot be adequately praised as Saguna Brahma is infinite glories. Kati vida gunaha, how many countless gunas, the qualities or the virtues the Lord has. Kasya stotavya, who can truly worship Him, who can truly describe His glories. Kasya vishaya, and He is the very self. He is devoid of all the attributes, formless. Kasya vishaya. Who can make him the vishaya, the object of knowledge, object of realization? Because he is the very self. So this Lord Shiva is represented as Shivalinga, which is as close to formlessness as possible. That circle represents the fullness or wholeness, and also represents the formlessness. Because the form would limit something. So wholeness, completeness, formlessness all go together. And this is symbolized by a Shivalinga. Shivalinga has an elliptical form. It also represents a flame. The nature of flame is to rise up Flame also dispels darkness. Flame also illumines. If this is the representation of Lord Shiva, the Lord Shiva is the very embodiment of knowledge, which dispels the darkness of ignorance and which illumines the hearts of the devotees with knowledge, with tranquility, with ananda. And Shivaratrih symbolizes that. There are several stories regarding Shivaratrih. One story is perhaps the most famous. It is said in Shiva Purana that once upon a time there was a dispute between Lord Brahma, the creator, and Lord Vishnu, the preserver. It seems that Lord Vishnu was in a yoga nidra, lying in a serpent bed, and Brahmaji came to see him and Lord Vishnu was not aware. So Brahmaji was not shown the due respect. And he got angry. And that's how a dispute arose between them. This is just a story. Well, Lord Brahma claims, I am greater, I am the greatest because I am the creator. And Lord Vishnu says, hey, you are born of my lotus from my navel. How can you be greater than me? This is how debate went on. And this dispute again, then in course of time became violent and they started fighting. Started releasing weapons at each other. Lord Brahma then released Pashupatastra at Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu released Maheshwarastra at Lord Brahma. If these two terrible weapons coincide and destroy the whole world, and a miracle happened that a column of fire emerged, appeared, manifested between these two weapons, and therefore they did not collide. Thus, a column of fire appeared in that night. Both Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu were amazed, flabbergasted, did not know what is this. The story goes that they decided among them to investigate and find out who this is. Where does it end? Where does it begin? So Brahmaji was riding on his swan and went up at the speed of wind. And Lord Vishnu assumed the form of a boar and started digging into the earth to get to the root. Brahmaji wanted to get to the end of it. Lord Vishnu wanted to get to the bottom of it. Anta and Adi. It seems that they struggled with this for 1,000 years and could not arrive at the determination of what they set out for. Both of them became very humble, fortunately, and started praying to Lord Shiva to please, to that column of fire, to please bless them with the knowledge of who he was. Bhakti Shraddha Bhara Gunadhyam. Their prayer was full of bhakti, the devotion, Shraddha, the faith or the trust. Swam Taschetabhyam. The Lord Shiva himself appeared before them. Tava kimanurvrittirna phalati. The anuvritti, the seva, the service done to you, does it not give a reward? It does. Anuvritti, seva, prayer, worship offered by Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu certainly resulted into the reward that they were seeking. He said that Lord Shiva himself appeared before them and gave them the darshan. So this is the appearance of Lord Shiva as a column of light, without beginning, without end. And according to one account, this happened in Banaras and Kashi. Kashate, Prakashate. Kashi also stands for self-effulgence. So then Kashi and Lord Vishveshwara, Vishwanatha is the manifestation of Lord Shiva. Although Ramana Maharshi also used to say that Arunachalam is the embodiment of Lord Shiva, and that night Lord Shiva manifested as Arunachalam. So that's how Arunachalam in the south, Tiruvannamalai, is also worshipped as Lord Shiva. People circumambulate around them on the night of Shivaratrih and other times also. So thus here Lord Shiva manifested his column of light, as we said. That's why the Shivalinga also represents flame or light. As we said, the light in the form of fire burns the impurities in the heart of the devotees. When you worship Lord Shiva in various ways, Lord Shiva can be worshipped Suguna in a form like Shivalinga. Abhisheka Priya Shiva, Lord Shiva is very fond of Abhisheka. But traditionally Abhisheka means bathing the Lord. In the worship of Lord Shiva, perhaps this Abhisheka or bathing the Lord is one of the most prominent upachara or prominent steps. And Lord Shiva is bathed with various materials, up to 11 Ekadasha Dravyani, which includes oil and water and milk and curd and so forth. And each kind of bathing has a significance and a reward. And a saint called Vinoma Bhave, he was wondering as a child that there is a pot of water always held above a Shivalinga from which the water drips. What is the dripping or the Abhisheka? What does it symbolize? Symbolizes the vritti, the thought flow in the mind of the devotee, that it converts or it ultimately concludes into the Lord. This flow of my thoughts centered upon the Lord. Various kinds of dravyas, various kinds of thoughts all converge into the Lord. That symbolizes also the meditation. And as worship symbolizes our offering to the Lord. A devotee wants to offer the very best that he has to the Lord and sings the praise or glory of the Lord. And thus a typical Rudrabhisheka gives us an opportunity to offer various materials of worship to Lord Shiva as Abhisheka, do the alankara of various kinds, decorating the Lord, adorning the Lord, and all the rupacharas, showing the lamps, offering the food. It's traditional to perform this puja throughout the night on Shivaratrih. It's a worship during the night. A night of 12 hours has 4 praharas, each of 3 hours. Therefore, it is also traditional to offer 4 worships, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, 12 hours to Lord Shiva in many places. It all symbolizes our dedication, devotion, and our commitment. So that is the Shivaratrih. Ratri stands for the darkness of ignorance. The Shiva, Lord Shiva, stands for the column of light of knowledge. The Shivaratrih symbolizes the dispelling of darkness, dispelling of ignorance. When Lord Shiva manifests as knowledge in my heart, like Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, I also become humble. Tato bhakti shraddha bhara guru ganadhyam ganeshayat. With the weight of Guru, with the weight of bhakti and shraddha, when you worship Lord Shiva, the Lord Shiva does manifest as a light of knowledge in our heart, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. Today also in Gurukulam, the worship has begun from this morning. Recital of Om Mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Simple but beautiful mantra also comes from the 8th Anuvaka of Rudram. Om Namah Shivaya. Namaha, salutation. Shivaya to Lord Shiva. My salutation to Lord Shiva. Namaha, salutation. What does it symbolize? It symbolizes my surrender. I surrender at the feet of the Lord. All I can do is to worship the feet of the Lord. That's my reach. There is no way that I can reach the head of the Lord. But if you want to reach the head, we begin with the feet. Namaha, salutation, surrender, which means graceful acceptance of the Lord in my life. Bhakti and Shraddha. Have the trust that what is this Lord and what manifests in my life, the form of various events and circumstances, is nothing but Lord. Whatever comes to me in my life, pleasant or painful, is all given to me my Lord, by the Lord. And I have Shraddha, that Lord is benevolent, He is my well-wisher, and therefore, whatever He gives me or whatever He does has my well-being as the ultimate agenda. Although the form in which this well-being comes may not necessarily be liked by me, The form in which the blessing comes may not be very pleasant. And that's why Namaha, the surrender, the Shraddha, is called for. Have Shraddha, have the trust that Ishvara, Lord, is my well-wisher, and therefore I gracefully and with gratitude accept whatever comes in my life. Because what comes is not so important as where it comes from. And if I have trust, it comes from the Lord. That gives me also the strength to face difficult situations in my life without breaking down with Shraddha that there is something in it for me. That difficulties also come to me for strengthening me, shaping me up. Thus Om Namah Shivaya is the mantra, or representing my Shraddha, Bhakti, surrender, seeking the grace of the Lord, giving me this courage and strength to even accept the difficult things in life. And ultimately Namaha is merging into the Lord. That is true Namaha, true Namaskar, true prostration, where even the duality of the devotee and the Lord also does not remain. That Namaha culminates into the oneness with the Lord. And that is what is in my mind. With that Shraddha, Bhakti and fervor, I decide Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Which is what has been done from the morning. And that worship and this Rudrabhisheka and the prayers all culminate into the midnight, where Lord Shiva manifests before us as a light, as a knowledge, as a blessing. And therefore I pray along with you that Lord Shiva blesses us all, enhances our Shraddha and Bhakti, the trust and devotion. And this worship culminates into my inner purification, inner growth, and the knowledge of oneness, leading to the attainment of Ananda, the fullness or wholeness, which is the true success of life. With that prayer, I conclude here tonight. Hari Om.